Welcome to another video, movie review. Here we go. We're trying to stick with the trends. We got the glasses on this time. We're trying to stick with the trends and be with the current sessions. I know I'm still kind of late to this movie, but I just wanted to share my thoughts because honestly, it was a very good scary movie. A lot of the time, I usually go to scary movies, and I really don't have any type of hope if it's going to be good or bad. I just think that, I at least hope I'm going to have a good time, and I don't always expect to be scared. Because sometimes scary movies can end up just being funny, and you can just laugh. Or it's like the gore and just makes you feel uncomfortable. But whatever the case is, I usually have lower standards, as do everybody, and it's unfortunate for scary movies, even though those can be one of the best movies like around. But this one, very good, and I can't wait to go into it. First, welcome to the channel. I know that this is technically my second movie review. The first, The Boys, is more of a show review, but in the end of the day, I'm gonna be editing that and posting it. But this is my second video, so welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe if you're watching this. Leave a comment if you disagree with anything, or if you think this movie's trash. Or you think this movie is good. If you think this movie is trash, you're kind of wrong. But if you think the movie is good, definitely leave a comment. But I also realized something. After recording the boys' kind of video, I realized I need more of a system. I'm a system person. I need more of a structure of how I'm going to break down these movies. And I'm gonna share it with you now. You're gonna have to remember it, because I'm never going to share it again. If anybody asks, you need to come back to this video and you need to watch it. Okay, because at the end of the day, we're not going to repeat things, right? You got this. The only time we have to repeat it is if we're in first grade. We're not in first grade anymore. Are you ready? It's 5. We're going to do 5 things. 5 structures for every video. 5. 1. How is the story? Was the story good? Is it believable? 2. How are the characters? Were they good? Were they believable? 3. Did the movie succeed in its goal? I wrote all this down. I was trying to put a lot of thought into this. Right? Like, for example, if it's trying to make you scared, was it able to make you scared? If it was trying to make you uncomfortable, was the movie able to make you feel uncomfortable? Some movies, it's a little bit harder. It's not really like a feeling that they're trying to do. It's more of like trying to give a good story. Or like, if it's trying to, like, a lot of movies that I watch and I love, it's trying to convey a message or talk about a certain idea. Give commentary either on the time period. You get what I mean. Number 4. How was the cinematography and the editing of the film? Now, these honestly add so much. Well, more specifically, editing. Editing has so much to do with how enjoyable a film is. It has so much to do with making things feel rushed, slowing. There's one thing I kind of missed. I think we should also add, how was the directorial input? Because what I realized, a lot of movies are not, like, the actors are sometimes you have a phenomenal actor with a bad director, and who just like does not know how to put this film together, and then it messes up the actor, because the reality, the actor is just playing what the director is trying to tell him. I only say that because I feel like directors have so much more control over like the film than we understand, or most people give. Like, it's not really the actor, it is really the director who really builds the film. Anyway, number 5. This is the last one. What's the overall rating, right? So we're going to... I like rating over stars, specifically 5 stars, and it's like halves, so you can get half a star That's if you want to do equate that, that's 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. A star. 2 out of 10. Star and a half. 3 out of 10. You can do the rest. Okay, all the way to 10. I think it's my favorite way of doing it. I love I have a letterbox, so it's kind of how they do it. I like letterbox and trying to keep it consistent. Yeah. Now that we're all up to date, boys and girls, pull out your pencils. We're gonna take a test right now. In 3, 2, what? Why aren't you pulling out your pencil? Because you weren't paying attention. You weren't paying attention. I'm not going to go over the rules again. You're going to have to rewind and pay attention to the rules again. Now, let's actually get into the rating of Obsession. Now that we got through the actual rules, I'm going to go down through it again like the following. First up, we're going to be doing story. How was the story? Overall, was it compelling? I feel like it's, obviously with different genres, you're going to have different expectations. So I feel like in dramas, you're going to have more of like, do I believe these characters are acting like this? I feel like I guess that's every movie. Guys, that's me. I just say random things. But with this, it's kind of a simple, with this story, it's very simple, but it executes the actual premise very well. It's a simple story. It's a simple concept. I don't want to... No, I'm going to spoil it. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to just, like, tiptoe around it and not talk about how I feel about the movie. I want to share. So, if you want to watch the movie, this is your time to go watch it, and then walk right back to me. All right? And watch this, and then like and subscribe. Wait. Like, subscribe, watch it. That's you going to watch it, and then you coming back. It's a very simple story. It's not really trying to blow your socks away. It's not trying, or socks off away. Blow your socks off. It's not really trying to be, Oscar worthy, or even like, have a deep story. But it doesn't need it. It honestly goes down to the simple, it goes down to the simple but creative ideas and kind of carrying out, just showing basic fears and playing on people's fears. I'm going to get more into it later. I just think that this movie excelled in its execution and didn't really need a very heavy story or explanation for a lot of its concepts. Yeah, I do think that some of the decisions made within the actual, like, the main character was kind of a little silly, but other than that, it really wasn't too bad with the actual story at all. So I'm going to get into a little bit. So this story basically follows a character named Bear. I don't know what the hell his last name is. This character is played by Michael Johnson. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm saying the actors' names. Actually, matter of fact, let's start with this. First, we got 4 real big characters, right? First, before we even mention the characters, let's mention the director. The director is Curry Baker. All right, get that in your head, because this movie, the next movie that he's making, you watch out and you go out to go see it, because I got some faith in Curry Baker. I don't know what else he's done. I hope the other movies he's done is good. But first and foremost, so we got 4 big characters. First, Bear, the main character. Nikki, the love interest. Sarah, the second love interest. Ian, the best friend. I'm just going to introduce that. Bear, played by Michael Johnson. Pretty good. Nikki, played by... my apologies for butchering this. Indy Nararet. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Sarah, Megan. Oh my god, why? I'm writing, guys. I'm sorry. I'm writing in cursive. I can't read for. Megan Long. Megan, Loneless, and then Ian, the best friend, is Cooper Tompkins. I don't know what I wrote there. Anyway, so the story. Bear, the main character, has a crush on a girl named Nikki. Nikki does not like Bear. Not one bit. And it's kind of like the best friend dynamic, you know. But Bear is kind of acting like the nice guy, where he's like, if I'm just like around her for long enough, then like maybe one day like things will fall into my face and she will like kiss me, and I don't have to like go out there and you know, I don't have to make a move. I can just and that's the problem, Bear. Let me just tell you. Number one, you got to be a little bit more direct. You got to just tell her straight off the bat. All right? Because then it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable feeling, you know, one person liking the other and the other person clearly not liking them. And that's actually the vibe that you get immediately. They they have like a group hangout. Bear, Nikki, Sarah, and Ian. All of them are hanging out, and Bear and Nikki actually go off in the car. Like Bear is driving Nikki home, and he's kind of being like trying to have that flirtatious vibe, or like, you know, joking style, and she's just not with it. But earlier in the film, it's important to mention that dynamic, but this is how it goes. So Bear's cat dies. This is important because it's kind of the symbology or symbolism that it's going to go on to like later in the film. But Bear's cat dies. Then Bear picks up a gem for Nikki, because Nikki lost her like gem necklace, and Bear wanted to buy her a new gem necklace. But in this gem store that he went to, there was a one wish willow. It was like this octagon box, and essentially it allowed you to have one wish. You can only have one wish. If you take a wish, you can't buy another wishing willow, and you can't ask for another wish. And essentially with this car scene, so now let's go back to the car scene. So Bear's driving home Nikki. It eventually got to the point where Nikki asked Bear outright, "Oh, do you like me or something?" And Bear was like, "No." And it was very obvious that Nikki was not into Bear. And this is later on confirmed. We find out Nikki and Ian were having an affair. Not an affair, just like a, you know, fling. Okay, simple premise. After this happened, Bear uses a snap card or a one wish willow and wishes for Nikki to love him more than anybody else. That's it. That's the premise. Bingo. That's all you need to know for the rest of the movie. And the resolution, I feel like I'm not going to give the ending a lot. I'm just giving the beginning part, because the beginning part is kind of like the beginning, like everything. I'm not going to give the ending. But the resolution was really, really good too. But with this simple plot, you would think, like, okay, well, it's gonna be it could have been like, oh, it's gonna be just one of these like simple movies. No, it actually was really good. It explored everything that you could do with this kind of concept, and used a lot of horror aspects, or good, like, just good lighting, to reinforce the tone and the feeling of how a character makes you feel. Like, it was just an excellently done. Again, the ending, the actual ending of the film, I'm not gonna really get into that. I'm not gonna get to the ending of the film. I mentioned the beginning part. I apologize for some of the spoilers, guys. Maybe if you feel like it was too much, I'm not gonna get into all of the aspects of the film. I feel like you should watch it if you haven't. Now we can go to the characters. I think that, okay, I'm gonna say this. Bear, I did not like Bear. Not that I think that the actor did a bad job. I think the actor actually did a really good job. I just hated the choices that Bear was making. And honestly, throughout the whole like film, you kind of realize Bear is kind of a bad person. Because in reality, right? I was talking to my girlfriend about this, and she kind of brought this to my attention. But Bear, I cannot believe it. he knew that Nikki was not in her body, right? So in this film, Nikki got the one wish, when he or Bear wished, right? Nikki kind of still remained in her body, and it was incredible to see the actress of Nikki give an incredible performance, because you could see her almost like her body was being controlled, and in the back of her mind was her, and sometimes she would come out and glimpses and say like no and freak out. This is seen in multiple scenes, but basically this is like, and Bear knows this, and he doesn't do anything about it until like it really affects him at the end. He yeah, no, it's awful. He didn't really even like, even when he had the chance to before he just decided to cancel the wish, right? Before he decided to cancel the wish, he decided, oh, let me just try to edit it, knowing that again that Nikki was stuck in there. It was not like her choice. But he was in denial. I guess that's the point. He was in denial, but still, that's kind of a shitty thing to do. Anyway, that's me hating on him. Maybe I don't. Maybe he doesn't deserve as much hate, but still, he was kind of annoying as hell. So annoying. But then we get into the actual best character of the film, Nikki. Here's the thing. It wasn't just the acting, because the acting was incredible, right? Where she was tasked to kind of give this crazy performance, literally crazy, and the way that she executed it was by quick changing of emotions, and the leaning into the uncomfortability, the cringe, leading into kind of that, and letting the tone of the actual background support her. So for example, a lot of the shots when they wanted to convey creepiness, I was going to mention this later into like the actual cinematography, like how the lighting of the shots, I was going to talk about, but I can go into a little bit now. But the way that they used the lighting, and specifically shadows, putting her in pitch dark while she's like talking in a weird type of tone, very quick in the dark, and it just gives that uncomfortability. You don't know what's going to happen, especially when you start realizing that she's not really in control, right? Nikki, the person's not really in control. So what's the end? What's the limits? And you realize quickly it's really not. There's no limits on the level of crazy. No limits on the level of crazy. Incredible. Again, incredible performance by the actress of Nikki. I think the incredible incredible directorial style of having those shadows to support that creepy feeling, especially when certain scenes, when it literally gives you goosebumps. It gives you goosebumps. I'm feeling it now already. I'm feeling it now. It's creepy. Now we can go. I'm gonna go a little bit onto Ian. Ian, he was alright. I mean, he was just that typical frat bro. I don't really like those type of characters. I feel like I get like, yeah, I mean, he's just a typical like asshole friend. Not gonna lie. I don't even know. I thought they were best friends, but honestly, I don't really feel like they were acting like best friends. Ian and Bear, I mean. With that being said, I mean, I guess the tension between Bear. So throughout the story, it reveals that to confirm that Nikki did not want to be in a relationship with Bear. They said Ian and Nikki were sleeping together. Again, Bear, his best friend was doing it behind his back. Still, they're just adults are adults. Of course, they can do that. It's kind of an asshole thing to do. With that being said, I think that they kind of missed some opportunities to kind of build more of a conflict between Ian and Bear about him betraying him. It was kind of like just like boom, he found out. Oh, Ian or Bear was like, I don't care. We gotta focus on this. Ian not believing him. Ian dying. I think it could have been even cool if we saw that Ian died from Nikki killing him after Ian tried to get Nikki back. Maybe he gets jealous and wants Nikki back, right? Like that would have been a cooler death and like make more sense of the character, or like more. It would make more sense. It just feels like the way that Ian died was like, oh, I wish for $1 billion. He gets $1 billion, dies. and like he would have realized that what fucking Bear was saying was true. So he would have taken that way more serious, not just fucking walk in and die immediately. So I think again, it should have been really like I think it would have been better if Bear tried to get Nikki back and then died. That's my personal like headcanon of how they could have fixed that scene, and it would have been better for Ian. I think it would have gave like a little bit more story, and it would have felt a little bit. I don't care if the movie felt a little bit longer. I don't care if they added a little bit more, just a little bit more, like to add that scene with Ian, and change what they did with him, because I think it was a waste. Sarah, overall good second love interest. I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know what to say. She was good. I think again the way that they contrast the creepiness of Nikki, freaky Nikki, the contrast of freaky Nikki, literally, to Sarah, and like even like the music that they do, the more calming music with Sarah, the scary, like the music. By the way, the music was phenomenal. Now we can go to the third category, which is like how did it do? Did it succeed in its goal? And yeah, I would say it definitely did. I think it did an exceptional job in exceeding or in making you feel scared, especially in certain scenes. And this is example number one. This is probably its best scene. There's a scene where Bear and Nikki are sleeping in the same bed. Well, Bear wakes up in the middle of the night. Nikki is standing in the corner of the room, looking, and then and goes I can't even go. It was so creepy. That scene, incredible scene. And that was it made use of awkward body movement, plus dark lighting, plus the creepy voice, plus just like the vulnerability of feeling like you're being watched during your sleep, playing into that fear that people have. I think again, it takes simple concepts and takes big, like, already fundamental like scare tactics of just like focusing on certain fears, like like sometimes movies will have like needles, right, to fuck with people who have fear of needles, right? That's an example. It just plays on people's fears, and I think it does a great job at doing that. Let's now on to number 4, the editing. I think that overall the editing of the film was good. I don't think, other than maybe the first part of the movie, did I feel the movie was going a little slow, but after that, I think the actual movie was moving pretty good pace. Honestly, I don't think it was boring at all. I think I was entranced the entire time. Yeah, I think also, again, I gotta go into to say the lighting in the film, some of the shocks. I will say, like when Sarah's death. That's something I could mention. Sarah's death, I think, was a great switch up. I know that it was kind of obvious that Sarah was going to die in the manner that she did, but the switch in tone, it gives you that, switch of feeling, puts you at ease, and then it rips it off immediately. Again, it's obvious that it's coming, but it still just does a great job. Again, the Curry Bay Parker, what's his name? I apologize. Curry Barker. My bad. Curry Barker. Phenomenal job. His vision is absolutely fantastic. Especially with the horror. Again, it's a simple horror. It's not supposed to be anything special. It's not supposed to be this big mind thriller. No, it's just supposed to be a good, solid horror pick that you can watch with friends. That's all it's supposed to be. So I guess this brings us to the end. Overall, again, I think that the movie was very strong in story. I think it had great horror scenes. I think it's a movie that you would want to watch with your friends, drinking, having a drink together. It's a good movie just to watch with friends, even with your girlfriend or by yourself. It's just a good movie to watch. I think if you haven't watched it in the theaters, you should go out to see it in the theaters. I think we should bring back movie theater culture, because every movie is better in the theaters. I think we can all agree every movie is better in the theaters, unless it's a bad movie. And then you regret that you went to the theaters because you spent so much money on the snacks. And if you're like me, you like a popcorn and M&Ms. And that's a lot. That's very expensive. And an icy because you love yourself. And by loving yourself, you give yourself all the sugar that you want. Being serious, I think overall this movie was fantastic, and I would give it, we're going to do the star system again. So let me just make this clear. 2.5 stars is average. 3, first let me just give it 0.5, don't watch it. 1, I guess it's easier to rate it from the middle. 2.5 is average, right? 2, below average. After that, it's just bad. Awful, right? But, okay, 2.5. 3, above average. 4, good. 4.5, great. 5 out of 5, perfect. I guess that's it. I mean, I don't know. I think I went through it all. This one, ready? Out of 4. Okay, I want to also just say that it's not like they're different genres have different expectations. So this is not like my score is not going to be comparable to another like drama. Like it's depending on the movie type, right? Like I can't rate Marvel movies the same way I would rate I don't know, a really good movie like Whiplash. I don't know. I'm only saying this because later on I'm gonna have takes. I don't want to get critiques. Anyway, 3, 2, 1. 4 out of 5 stars. It was a great film. Great film. It's much better than I feel like a lot of other horror movies that I've watched. At least it's like, okay, for example, look at another A24. I think it was Talk to Me. Which one was the one with the like the hand, people grabbing it? It's like that one. That one had like a weird type of horror where it was like a desynchronization. Like you feel a dissonance from what you're seeing. Like it's creepy as fuck what you're seeing, but these characters are just doing it anyway. It's among those it's really good. Like it's a good type of horror. I would recommend it. I think it's better than those I think it's even better than Talk to Me. It's at least more entertaining in my eyes. With that being said, again, the character's phenomenal. What can I say? I think this movie was a great movie. I think you should go out to watch it. With that being said, I think that's all for me. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It always helps the channel. And I really do appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate it. Again, this is Mark, Be the World. Alright, I'll catch you next time.